Cause my computer to have a stroke. Let me see if it will let me go back in again.
Data center.
Or if it's gonna 2000K me. It's not. Okay. We're back at it. The character is not properly logged out because your client gave my computer a stroke, Square Enix. It's not a wonder I'm not going to be playing this game anymore after this fucking X-Pack.
I'll tell you when you're out.
Excuse me.
Game was so broken up about Tesline's death that it fucking disconnected you. You're out.
It killed itself. God damn, that's dark. Okay, I should be coming back in at the moment. And it looks like everything's running smoothly again. I'm gonna have to figure out another title, I suppose, but well, that's okay. Because I'm gonna have to split this into A and B now. I had a title for the whole thing if we didn't DC, but we did in fact DC, so we'll have to figure that one out.
You could just name it Part A, Part B.
Well, that's what I'm going to do, but I have to figure out a subtitle for Part A and a subtitle for Part B. So. Oh, okay, it actually went through. Wilford's thing is done, so now I can go and turn in the quest. Speak with Howrick. I'm sure he'll say a whole lot. Let's speak with him, and then I can talk about the problems that I have with what just occurred. Yeah, well, as he should. Okay, he didn't hardly say a damn thing. You know what, I'm gonna wait because we can talk about it on the Amaro ride back. Alice is lost with grief. Well, she was here for like a year, so it's understandable. Alice say ... That makes me sound like I'm broken up about this person I met 5 minutes ago. I've spoken with the cares. It's gonna be a long process, but, you know. Well, I'm glad it means a lot to them. Yeah, well, it didn't really hurt any of us, but... I mean, they could have decided not to use body horror in this X-Pack, but... Oh. Okay. You're going to leave them with... I mean, this works for me, because it means you get back to the Crystarium and we get back to having a cohesive unit for the Scions of the Seventh Dawn, but you're going to leave them without any bodyguards?
Oh, he does blink.
Who, Halric? I haven't gotten to that part yet. I guess they're all kind of bodyguards, in all honesty, you know? Yeah, he does blink.
I always thought he didn't blink for the entire expansion.
Hmm. That's the closest
which would have been
we'll
deeply
get to
creepy.
That's the closest we'll get to him emoting, so. Or we could just, you know, kill all of the Sin Eaters. I know everyone's like, oh, you can't kill them, but I don't know. We've done pretty good of it so far. At least, you know, since I got here. Not tooting my own horn, but, you know. Well, fair enough. Can cut off a few more wings. And then Karibu will remain flightless.
Hopefully.
Ideally, yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if the wing is grown back, though, because if that thing's anything like Karibu, it has regens and re-raises and all that other crazy shit. So, where are we off to? The Red Sarai. Okay. Is there an Amaro keep there? No. So we have to probably walk back there, but I'm going to take an Amaro anyway to head back to
Wait for me.
Okay.
I'm still in the cutscene.
I see that. It says viewing cutscene. Yeah, if I turn this quest in, I'll get Scholar to 79.
So I assume that you have thoughts once you're done drinking water, because I heard...
Yeah, so I have a question, and I was thinking about it yesterday. in the shower because shower thoughts always seem to be the ones that make me think the most. I don't know if the way that people turn into Sin Eaters in this game is consistent. Oh, look, the Gigantender is still there. The hunt train hasn't come through here in weeks, then. Well,
menacingly.
This week, anyway. Yeah, I'm not sure if the way that Sin Eaters turn into Sin Eaters is consistent, because... So Halric was on the cusp, right? He's on the border of becoming one. His skin is practically porcelain. They're all like, no, he's pretty much on his way out, so much so that we have to go poison his nectarine, like, now-ish, before he turns into one. And so when they poison him, he dies a peaceful death because the poison takes him and he dies. Mm-hmm. When Tesleen gets stabbed, I'm going to use the Gatherer to get through here. It's a little faster because they can't see me. And the Gigantender's all the way over there, so nothing here will see us, unless there's another A rank somewhere around here.
Which would be deeply unfortunate.
Yes, it would. We would go as far around it as we could. So when Tesleen gets stabbed, now I think the most plausible explanation that I can come up with there is that because she got stabbed, her ether was so overwhelmed by the diffusion of light that she just instantly transformed into a Sin Eater. But I'm still kind of questioning it, because the alternative to her turning into a Sin Eater there was death. She would have died. She would have bled out. So, in the event that death happens, what seems to happen with Sin Eater transformation... Should I get that? Oh no, I can't get that section of the map yet, because it's all the way over on the other side of the bridge. When death happens, or Sin Eater transformations happen, it seems like in the face of death, the ether that the Sin Eater has already given you overwhelms the need to die, the body's feelings of, oh, I'm going to die, and it overwhelms that feeling and it just turns you into a Sin Eater. But it only does it selectively when they're in a cutscene, because it happens again in the first dungeon that we're going to go to, where something gets stabbed, and then with the threat of death right there, it transforms into a Sin Eater. The problem that I have is that why does that not happen to people who are poisoned? I understand how poison works. I'm not saying that. What I am saying is that when they're on death's door, when the poison is about to take them, why doesn't their ether overflow and turn them into a Sin Eater instantly? Why do they only die when it's like they get stabbed? It doesn't feel consistent to me.
If my memory is right, like just thinking about this, I think the way that I always thought it was, or how it works, is that the reason why Halric and all of the others that are at the inn are alive is because the wounds they took from Sin Eaters were like cuts, basically. When you take a mortal wound from a Sin Eater, you instantly transform into one. If you don't take a mortal wound, like you get grazed, the transformation is slow.
Sure, but why does the transformation not happen when they die from the poison? Because the alternative to them it's the same alternative. It's death or transform into a Sin Eater. Why does the sin not overwhelm their body and say, no, fuck you, I'm not dying yet, because we need numbers for our Sin Eater army. You can't kill me by poison. Why does anything kill a being that can transform? Like, I don't know. To me, it just doesn't feel consistent. That's all. And I'm not like really upset about it, because I feel like you could interpret it one way or another where it is consistent, but to me it just doesn't feel consistent. So
I feel like it's partially to do with the fact that because this is an Endwalker, they didn't go completely over the top dark with it to give people a way out, because I feel like the prospect that they were having to poison their own people to give them a merciful death was fucked up enough. They didn't have the need to go as fucked up as there is no way out. You turn into one no matter what you do, and there is no going back.
Yeah, but they just die otherwise, so if you're gonna go dark with it, why not remain consistent? I like it better when this sort of stuff is consistent. That's why I'm asking these questions, because it doesn't feel consistent to me. It feels like they're just doing it whenever they feel like it. Like they'll kill them if it's a need, if there's a cutscene need for them to die, if they want it to. It feels like they're doing it. They're killing Tesleen there for shock value, and it's not the last time that they're going to do that in Shadowbringers, where they just do something because of shock value, and that's why it concerns me, because that means that's another harbinger. That's another bad sign of something that's going to happen. So that's why I'm questioning. I don't know. This whole thing has
Let's
left a bad taste in my mouth. You want to cook something?
Momentarily, yes.
Because I get the feeling when we go to see the Exarch, he's going to have like a big long spiel about the nature of the problems that we have going on here and what we need to do to stop it. Just call it a hunch. So I'd rather have some quote-unquote popcorn when we go in. But I don't know, that's just... I'm not going to, like, get over-the-top angry about it, because this isn't something that you could just universally see and be like, no, what the fuck, this is wrong. But I just don't feel like the system of change is consistent. So, what are you fixing, your hot bars?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
On Gatherer.
On Gather.
Because I forgot to do it for Gatherer.
Okay, well, you could have asked me. Should we cook out here in the middle of the sun, or should we go in the shade of the Crystal Tower?
Let's go into the shade of the Crystal Tower.
Probably a good idea, especially after what happened to Tesleen. I don't want to get radiation poisoning from standing out here for too long. Oh, look, there's a very small, slim section of shade. Call it Slim Shady. Okay, let's see what we got here. Yeah, that. Okay, so we have all the materials to make... I don't actually know if this was one of your favorites from back home, but we have the materials to make some jellied compote. If you go to the 66 to 70 on your list there, it's near the bottom. Have you had jellied compote before?
I do not believe so.
Well, first time for everything. Alright, how much help do you need with crafting?
I have no idea.
Because I'm going to make mine right now. I also gave you the materials so that because the gelatin and everything else is high quality, it should all, be pretty easy to do. So. Are you fixing your hot bars here too?
Yes, because for some godforsaken reason, it's out of order!
Do you know what you need?
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay. Because you're basically going to want to use, like, Prudent Touch is a big one. Waste Knots are pretty good.
Burgets.
Yeah, Burgets at the end of your quality stuff. So. And there we go. 3 servings of jellied compote. Now I should have plenty with which to popcorn my way up. Oh look, the light is fading. So the first thing you're going to want to press is Reflect. So make sure that's on there, because it's not just a buff for the strongest buff in the mid-game of Final Fantasy XII, it's a crafter buff now. Then you want to press Innovation, then mash Prudent Touch until you're almost at max quality, then finish it with Burgets. You'll want to hit Veneration after that, and then you can do any of the syntheses. You could do Basic Synthesis, Careful Synthesis, Focused Synthesis, or if you have it, which I don't think you do at your level, Intensive Synthesis, but that one is only at Good and Excellent. So.
Okay, so what are we cooking again?
Jellied compote.
Stupid ADHD, am I right?
Jellied compote. The Othardian treat that I'm seriously surprised you haven't had, considering you grew up in Garlemald, and it was my understanding that Garlemald made this stuff. It's a delicacy.
I haven't had it in a while. Okay, so what's the process again?
Okay, so first things first, you press Reflect. That'll give you a couple of bonuses for Inner Quiet. Then you press Innovation.
Where the hell is Innovation in my bar?
And that'll give you 4 steps to do Mash Prudent Touch. Hey Marie, how's it going? Welcome back. Yo, come here and hear crafting rotation nonsense. Yeah, we're fixing Cole's crafter hotbars to make sure he's got them correct so he can do this.
Oh, there's Innovation. So. Innovation.
Okay, so now do a Prudent Touch, because that'll only use 5 durability. Alright, how's the quality look right now?
2,816 out of 4,200.
I'd do another Prudent Touch.
3,315.
Okay, so now you should be able to Burgets it, especially since it's a good. I can see that it's a good by looking at your thing.
100%.
Okay, so that'll also get rid of your Inner Quiet stacks, so those will get out of your inventory. So now you're going to want to hit Veneration, because that makes you do better with your synthesis actions. So Okay, so now, like I said, you have a bunch of different synthesis actions you can use. Basic synthesis is the lowest. Careful synthesis is a little better than basic. You could observe and then focused synthesis as a combo action, and that does about half of what you need. And if it's a good or excellent, if you have intensive synthesis, you could do that too. How much you at? 560 something?
897.
Probably almost there. You could probably get the rest of it with another observe focus, or you could do a. Okay, that should work. It should be fine.
There we go.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, we don't need waste not. We're that overgeared for this. We have all of the level 70, the hand king stuff, so we don't need to worry about it because it's a 1-star level 70 crafting thing. So I'm sure Cole will figure it all out eventually by doing his, custom delivery quests. So it'll make it easier for him.
I'm an Omni Gatherer on my main, so I don't really do a whole lot of crafting. I get people the things they need to craft the thing,
and then they craft for you. Yeah, define correct. All but one of my crafters have manipulation. Yeah, I've got manipulation too, but I didn't want to take into account that in case Cole doesn't have manipulation on his culinary.
And not level your crafters and fix your gear.
Yeah, no, I'm not leveling any more crafters than the ones that I have to, and I've leveled most of them. So, sorry, that's just not happening. I'm not playing this game for long enough to actually warrant leveling anything else other than what I've got. I'm going to sample the jellied compote we just had because, again, I think I'm going to need popcorn when the Crystal Exarch starts talking. Yeah, it's not bad. And I made sure this meal would actually benefit us directly in the next dungeon we went to because it gives determination, vitality, and crit. So.
I haven't had this in a long time.
That good, huh? The taste of home.
God. This is the only good tasting thing in the entirety of Garlemald aside from the pizza.
Yeah, that's fair. I've heard some good things about the pizza. Sounds like a plan, Alice. Let's see where we can go from all of this after I level up to level 79 on Scholar. I'll put on my Dark Knight gear because that's the one I need to level currently. More, anyway. The only reason you're doing your Grand Company stuff is get the rationing manuals to add 15 minutes to your food. Yeah, that's not a bad idea, actually, because that'll make it
Crystal Exar.
pretty good, so.
I'm back home and I brought the twins.
So did I.
And Jimmy.
Yeah. Even though I didn't really want to come back in here, but, you know. Well, we just watched... Yeah, we just watched someone get turned into a Sin Eater directly, so... You know, in a way that I'm not convinced is entirely consistent with the rest of the system of transformation. They're evil.
Indeed. Those abominations are a calamity in their own right. And I can well imagine how hopeless the task of eradicating them must seem to you.
It might seem hopeless to the twins, but I mean, it hasn't really been that hard for me,
After countless battles and untold sacrifice, we have identified a potential weakness.
Uh-huh. And what's that?
Sin Eaters are drawn to serve the strongest of their kind, a class of creature we call Light Wardens. And from what we have been able to ascertain, only a handful of these entities exist.
Okay, wait, hang on. Hold the phone here. Wait. It took you however long you have been here under the pall of the Sin Eaters, it's been like, what, 100 years since they came around? It took you this long to figure out, kill the captain and the rest will disperse? Why didn't I get here sooner? I could have avoided so much bloodshed. I'm not even going to try to imagine the surprised face that I have under that fucking helmet because they won't let me just be a dickhead.
Will cause the lesser creatures within its sphere of influence to disperse.
That's what I just said. How did it take you 100 years to figure this out?
I have a feeling Yulmore might have something to say about any concerted action we take against these monsters.
I have something to say about their walls then, Alphino.
Volthra's command over the Sin Eaters is integral to Yulmoran society. In seeming to guarantee his people's safety, it guarantees their obedience.
Yeah, because they literally have nothing else to live for. feel like society recovering as much as it has is commendable. Like, you'd think food would have run out by this point since eaters can literally turn anything. Yeah, no, it is commendable that they've gotten as far as they have. It just feels like their leadership hasn't really known how to lead people in a situation of crisis like this, which, yeah, it's Grahatia, that checks out, but, like, seriously, it's...
In the defense of Graha, killing Light Wardens isn't exactly the easiest thing in the universe, considering that most people get bodied by regular Sin Eaters, and these things are like Sin Eater queens and kings.
I have 3 words in response for you. Allegan death beams. The Crystal Tower is a satellite cannon. He could have used it. And then fueled the satellite cannon with more of their ether. That would be impractical, though, because that would have required actual thought. And that's not even a dig at Graha, that's a dig at the story writers. You looked it up, the current theme in Yolmor is called Pain in Pleasure. That is pretty creepy AF, yeah.
Agreed. Thus we will need to occupy or otherwise divert his forces whilst we proceed with the business of eliminating the wardens.
Okay, so who's doing the diversion and who's doing the eliminating here?
All other considerations must be set aside if we are to forestall the 8th Umbral Calamity.
You know, thinking about it, if, again, I keep coming back whenever we're talking about the 8th Umbral Calamity, I keep coming back to, you know, you could have just called me on the phone, we could have gone and blown up the Black Rose factory, and then I could have come here and helped you with your Sin Eater problem, and none of this shit would have happened. Yeah, I suppose, I guess I'm really questioning your knowledge here, your database on this, because are you sure eliminating the Wardens will destroy the Pall? There are a lot of light Sin Eaters out there, so...
Your uncertainty is understandable, given the circumstances.
Well, I'm glad we're both on the
Perhaps
same
a more
page for
detailed
once.
Explanation is in order. To begin at the beginning, then.
Final Fantasy VII reference. If only...
Cool as shit visuals.
If only Graha was Bugenhagen, I'd be so much more down for this light show.
Past, a single star was divided into 14 worlds. This is the source, your home. These others are the 13 shards, in whose number we find the first.
Right.
Though physically separate, they retain a connection to each other, and with the source especially.
Because they used to be one, yeah, got it.
Now, let us assume that a given element in one of the shards attains abnormal ascendancy. Just as water will flow from the highest point to the lowest, the excess energy will begin trickling into the source. And such an influx of ether will of course exert a palpable influence.
Like a calamity, yes.
If the element in question were fire, then drought and wildfires might ensue. If it were ice, one might expect the weather to turn bitterly cold.
So are you telling me that the last calamity, the 7th one, well, it wouldn't have been ice, even though it turned Kurthus to ice, because it didn't turn everything else to ice, right? Am I just confused?
As continues to pour in, such phenomena will become more and more extreme, until eventually, a single, untimely event triggers a disaster which cracks the barrier dividing the two worlds.
And that creates the calamity. Yeah, makes sense.
What was once a trickle now becomes a deluge, sweeping the shard along to be rejoined with the source. At the same time, the element which held sway in the shard is unleashed in full, its energies amplifying the original disaster to truly catastrophic proportions.
Yeah, I think that's the part that gets me, Marie, is that, like, I kind of dig the lore behind the calamities, but it's another situation where they're trying to retcon something to explain it, but it shatters the consistency of the whole thing, because it makes it seem like, based on his explanation, that when a specific type of ether is too strong, it will create cataclysms based on that type of ether rather than just a cataclysm in general. It starts to feel like, sorry, for lack of a better word, MMO writing, where they didn't think about it years ago, and now they're trying to explain it after years, and it doesn't necessarily agree with the stuff that came before. So,
An earthquake thus magnified might strike.
I mean, by that very explanation, what element can you even classify Bahamut under?
non-elemental. He's always classified under non-elemental, which is why this explanation doesn't necessarily work for it, because the seventh calamity had to do with Bahamut. Although, according to this, now that it doesn't have anything to do with Dalamud dropping, the seventh calamity had to do with one of the shards having, I would assume, neutral aspected ether being too strong in one of the shards. But how...
I mean, theoretically possible. It's possible to have neutral aspected ether. I mean,
I guess it's just
ether in
raw
general can
magic.
be neutral.
Yeah, I guess it's just raw magic, but, like, I don't know.
How do you cause a shard to break like that? That's something I wish they explored.
Yeah, they
These
don't...
devastating events
There's a lot of questions that I have about this. So,
I mean, the basic explanation is that, like, yeah, Dalamud fell, but maybe that was just icing on the cake.
7 times has a shard been absorbed.
Maybe it was because, like, of everything that happened in 1.0 and how the Ascians were getting their asses beat.
it just...
Maybe the Umbral Calamity was supposed to be something else, but they dropped Dalamud on our heads, if for no other particular reason than to just cause a calamity.
It just seems so coincidental, you know what I mean? Like, it seems like it's too good to have been like, okay, so they dropped the moon at exactly the same time as this one shard had too much neutrally aspected ether. I don't know. I'm pretty sure if I keep questioning this game, we'll never finish Shadowbringers, so I'm just gonna keep going. I've already questioned, like, this is the second thing I'm questioning today, so... The first was Tesline's death, and now this. So let's just keep going. I want to get to Holminster today. Here's another question that I have. As far as we're aware, there are, what, 8 elements in the known universe? Other than neutrally aspected ether, which I would assume is the 7th. So once 8 shards go away, this would have been the 8th. That means they would have had one of each, according to what we just saw in his light show, right? So can there be no other calamities, or do they just have more of another... Like, can there be repeat calamities of the same type of ether, I guess? Yeah, they showed the order on the screen. Yeah, so what happened to the 13th ring? Just killing myself. Oh my god. Yeah, I don't know. It just... It feels like...
Maria, I like you in chat.
You know, don't kill yourself. That's not good. But it just feels like there's just a lot of... They're trying to explain it, and I give them credit for trying, but it feels like they're just messing it up because they're not thinking about, okay, why did they do these things specifically back then? You know? I'm not going to get angry about this. Like, this isn't something to get angry about. This is just what happens when you change authors, and years pass since the last time stuff like this was written about. But if they're gonna make an MMO, I feel like they need to get the story down before they, start actually making it.
To be fair to the game, because they've been bouncing around between writers so much between expansions, and they were trying to push Shadowbringers and Endwalker as the end of the story of Light and Darkness, they had to try and explain something at some point or another, and given how frazzled this game's story can be at times, it's commendable they actually, gave a shit instead of just explaining everything away. Like, they retcon shit, a decent bit over the course of these expansions, but I'm proud just because, they tried. They didn't just throw it all in the trash can, leave a million plot holes open, and then just move on with the story like some other MMOs have. They actually tried to give a reasonable explanation at the end for why everything happened the way it did, and what the hell went on here. Sure, they had to retcon things, but honestly, sometimes, especially in large-scale writing projects like this and in video games, when there's, over the course of, decades, sometimes you just need to retcon stuff, because otherwise nothing makes sense. Because every writer that wrote this game has a different idea for where the story is going.
Yeah, and that's precisely the problem, because they didn't make a roadmap when they made this game. And I'm not one to, say... The roadmap is a taboo word now in the games industry, but when you're making something like this, where you're going to have to market it for years and years after it first comes out, sometimes it helps to actually take down notes of what you're planning on doing with it, rather than just writing by the seat of your pants. I'm looking at you, Tetsuya Nomura.
Nomura's capable of writing good games. I stand by that notion.
He is capable of writing good games. He just never does it. because he's too concerned with other things when he's making the games. I've seen his good writing.
Actually, Marie brings up a good point. Changing authors, cough cough, Final Fantasy 12.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. That's a fair point. Yeah. So.
Apart from being confoundingly elusive, the Light Wardens possess a troublesome quality which compelled us to delay our plans until such time as you arrived.
And what's this big problem that you have with the Light Wardens?
Hey, so remember what I told you earlier?
Forgive the interruption, my lord, but Holminster Switch is requesting reinforcements.
That's gonna have to wait because
They say
Holminster
the
needs our
Legions
help.
are attacking in force, and the village could soon be overrun.
That's not good. Where is this village exactly? Is it somewhere close to the Crystarium? I suppose I should define close. Is it close enough for the Aetherite shard to actually be like within the grasp of the Aetherite shard, or is it somewhere completely different?
You have command of our forces in the field, Captain, but hold off on entering the town until I arrive. That goes for Alphino and Alize as well.
My lord.
Well, no rest for the wicked, I guess.
Lend us your strength. Such a fight will provide you with far greater insight than any explanation I could offer.
How can you be so sure that the Light Warden is there? I mean, I guess that's what the intelligence suggests, but wouldn't we have needed someone to actually have seen it? And if they did see it, how did they get out alive? I'm still questioning. I need to stop. Okay, so we have to go to Lakeland in order to get there. What would Final Fantasy XII have been if the original author didn't leave halfway through the story? Yeah, it's a fair question. I question that about other games as well. I definitely felt that way about 15, so yeah, I don't know.
I mean, honestly, the story getting warped halfway through is just a problem that Square Enix in general seems to have across a lot of their games. And sometimes they don't even care enough to actually, like, fix the problem, but at least with 14, they allowed the problem to at least semi-be fixed.
Well, see, sometimes it has to do with the amount of time that they're spending, because they're spending potentially years trying to figure out how they want things to go, and they end up basically having to say, okay, well, you know, all these story details, people are going to forget about them anyway, it's fine. So,
To be fair, it's not exactly... We have a very unfair experience because we played all of these expansions in a row.
yeah,
Some
the thing
some
that they
people
didn't
who have been playing
expect
since A
people
Realm
to do.
Reborn.
Yeah. They didn't expect people necessarily to play them all in a row. They probably expected people to be like, okay, well, there's 3 months in between each one because they're literally railroading you into getting to the main content. How do I know? Because they literally give you Crystarium gear from some of the patch content to railroad you into the main content. So, yeah. Also, there's the B rank around.
I mean, I think the one thing is just, like... There wasn't any because of how much distance between expansions there were, they probably thought it was less of a problem than it actually was. Problem is that when you've got new players coming in, especially ones that like don't boost and go from A Realm Reborn straight to Endwalker, I think the one thing about the journey from there is just like you're getting the experience of the entire story, and by the end of it, it all makes sense. But that's only if your sense of like the hell is what do you always call
it's
it?
only if you've what's the your sense of dissonance, is that what you're looking for?
Yeah, like dissonance.
Or,
it's only
or
if you
suspension of disbelief.
Suspension of disbelief. That's the word I'm looking for.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It's
Since
only
your
if you
suspension
can
of
do
disbelief was broken much earlier than the average player, usually by the time your suspension of disbelief is like teetering, like by the end of Stormblood, you get into Shadowbringers and then you get into Endwalker, and by then you're starting to think like, oh, you know, this is a reasonable put-together story. Like, there are retcons here and there, but I still enjoyed it regardless.
And you should enjoy... Okay, so I want to make sure I'm clear on this. You should enjoy it if you know... If all this stuff that I've been talking about doesn't bother you. Here's the bicolor gemstone trader, by the way, which we'll never need because...
I unlocked it.
Yeah. We'll never actually need them because I actually bought all of the lore keyed eggs that we need, and that was the only material that we can buy with bicolor gemstones.
So, my thing with the
Amaro Key's
Exarch
up here,
and
sorry.
Graha... My
Amaro
thing
Key
with
is-
the Exarch and Graha, talking to Marie in chat, the thing that with Graha and the Exarch is I was initially didn't realize it was Graha for one reason. That is because every Makote model in this game, you can see their ears through the hoods.
Mm.
I didn't want to
Can you?
assume it was Graha. Yeah,
You
every
can?
single
Okay.
hat you can see Makote ears.
I was gonna say, are you sure that wasn't like a newer thing? but it might not.
I
have been.
was-
I don't know.
Every single Mikote NPC I've seen, like, you know them from their features. He doesn't stand like a normal Mikote because of his staff. He doesn't have his fucking ears poking out. You can't see the marks under his eyes.
Yeah, I guess that's fair. I only assume because he's the only fucking person alive who can command the Crystal Tower. Yeah, he is the only one with Allegan anything left in the source. Yeah. So, but and again, what I think what Cole is saying is that that's a detail from a story that happened
You can walk
at
over.
that point, like 6 years before Shadowbringers came out. So, like, the likelihood of someone remembering that is low. Potentially. There are some people that will remember it, but if you've been playing the game since then and you've taken a break during the patch content and everything like that, then it's fine. But here's the
Where are
thing:
we
is
walking,
that all
by the
that
way? We're walking away from the objective.
we are walking away from the objective. I don't know why I walked all the way up here. That's my bad.
I guess the one thing is that, like, the Crystal Tower quests were required to go into Shadowbringers.
They weren't.
But when I
actually,
heard
at
that-
the beginning of Shadowbringers, they weren't required. They fixed that in 5.3.
So, like, yeah, that's like a post-haste thing. So, like, it'd be easier for people to figure out it's Graha normally, but when I heard the explanations of the shards and played through Shadowbringers from front to back for the first time, like, there were details there that made me think, because I knew going in about the shards and the fact that multiple different variations of people could be from different shards. I thought it was another version of him.
Well,
Like,
yeah, I thought
they were just faking us the shit out, faking us the fuck out.
Yeah, initially, when I wasn't like really reading into every line of dialogue like I was this time, I thought that was the first version of Graha as well, and so, that was what my assumption was. But I realized upon rereading it that they literally blew their load way too early, and there's no other person that you could assume that it to be anymore because of what they said, if you have any idea of what, all of the things that have happened. So, question like this while going through this X-Pack. Remember, Graha played these with a lot of time between Stormblood and Shadowbringers. It started in patch 2.3, but Orchestrion rolls. Yeah, fair. You remembered, no one else did. It's the self-same tower from the source. Yes, I think I glossed over that part myself when I first played this, so.
I also glossed over that part myself.
Yeah, so. Well, we were already going that way, Graha, but okay, lead the way. I do like the music that plays in Lakeland, by the way, while this is all going on. It's pretty good.
Remove that line, instant improvement. I didn't.
Mm-hmm.
That's why
They didn't have to have that line in there. That is a good point. They did not have to have that line in there. They could have just not said that. They could have been mysterious about it, held their cards close to their chest, and then drip fed you details like, I don't know, a good story normally should. Why am I back on general chat? I thought I was on live chat. Oh, because the game 90K'd, that's why.
Look,
Okay.
I think the one thing is that I feel like they play the story in Endwalker a lot better because they hold a lot more cards close to their chest and actually do things the proper way, so that when the explanations happen, they hit a lot harder.
Yeah. No, I don't know if I'm ever going to find that out, so. Shadowbringers.
I mean, I assume you're gonna watch my stream if I ever.
I would watch your stream, yes. But Shadowbringers has so thoroughly, just to give you spoilers on how this is all going to go, Shadowbringers so thoroughly destroyed my impression of this game that I'm going to hijack the canon and end the canon timeline of this game at the end of this stream project.
Oh, your boyfriend resubbed.
What?
Oh, your boyfriend resubbed, Marie.
Oh, okay,
Nice.
There you go. Nice. Oh, I haven't even been looking for these ether currents, but here's one right here. So.
I think Lakeland's one of the ones you can actually get early enough to fly.
Yeah, we should be able to fly by like the middle of next week here. So.
Good.
Because we'll be doing all the quests here as well. Might finish Endwalker before the end of January. Oh, there you go. And then you can see how you feel about it.
Oh shit. I
What?
didn't get it. Fuck.
Oh.
I left at the last second.
Where's the next one?
Yeah.
594 South. Okay, so that's actually down by the entrance to Amarang, I think. Unless it was just over here by the gate, the Extensor gate, which is possible. Well, we can go
What
through
would
and do
you think
those
of
later.
Endwalker when you finish it, Marie? I have a lot of thoughts about Endwalker, which I want to talk about, but I also don't want to spoil it.
Like, I know enough about Endwalker's story to be like, I don't know if I would enjoy it personally because of the fact that I know what I don't like in Shadowbringers, and I know that nobody grilled their asses on the stuff that I don't like in Shadowbringers when Shadowbringers was out. Everyone thought Shadowbringers was the next best thing since sliced bread. So, because they didn't grill them on the mistakes, and there are many of them in this expansion, they wouldn't have known to fix them because everybody just said this was the best thing ever and one of the best Final Fantasies of all time. And I wholeheartedly disagree with that. It's one of my least favorite, period. But we're getting there. Slow but sure, but we're getting there. So,
As I said, my brother's gonna break a blood vessel when something specific happens this expansion, and then I'm gonna throw him into the sun.
I might wrap all the way back around and just be like, no, I'm not going to get upset at this. It's too far gone.
2,000 of each. I'm in your boat, my friend. In terms of, like, what Jimmy was saying, Murray?
In terms of, I think Marie's saying in terms of how I feel about this X-Pack. You can spend all your tomestones because you capped last week on all of them. Oh, that's what the 2,000 of each is for. Okay. Yeah, fair enough. So.
I mean, I think my problem is that I will never not like a Final Fantasy XIV expansion less than I like a Realm Reborn and Stormblood. So even though Shadowbringers is on the bottom of that list, like, I hate a Realm Reborn because it's a dragged out trash experience in my thing that is far too long and padded because it's from 1 to 50. And Stormblood has the most wasted potential out of any story I've ever
that
exposed
makes sense.
myself to.
I understand in your situation, yeah. I think the reason why I like this one less than a Realm Reborn is because I'm personally more willing to give first content in a game a chance because it's, at the worst, it's the ground level and they can build upon it. So if I see constant improvement from the first X-Pack, then I'm like, okay, that makes sense, fine. But yeah, when they get to this point and it just drops off a cliff for me, it just doesn't really. I have a lot stronger of a reaction to something that I hate down the road than I do at the beginning. So. Your problem is that people love this too much. You spent 2 years on a hiatus because of how toxic Stormblood's community had gotten. That's how people wanted you to kill yourself for not liking Stormblood. Yeah, that's not okay. Let's be clear on this. This game's community can be very toxic at times, and it is not okay for someone to say stuff like that. You should not do that. It is not a good thing to do that to somebody. You took a 2-year break specifically to skip when Shadowbringers was live, and Endwalker got delayed half a year. Yeah, fair enough. And I think I would too, considering the concept of what people were saying. I mean, I'm not going to say that when I played Elder Scrolls Online for 2 weeks, people told me to kill myself, but I literally questioned one thing, and they said, you should never play this again because you will never be satisfied. And I said, okay. And then I didn't play it again. So, yeah, no, that behavior that you're talking about there, though, Marie, that is not okay. Like, I don't know why anybody would ever think to do something like that, but they really need to, like, get off the internet forever. If they're going to tell someone to kill themselves over not liking something that they like. What the fuck is wrong with those people? Anyway, back to the Crystal Exarch. So is this like the ranch? Is this where you guys grow your cattle or something? And better question, do they have their own aetheryte shard? Because I feel like if they had their own aetheryte shard, this would be less of a problem. Because it protects them from this. There's no
You can't
aetheryte.
exactly build aetheryte.
There's no aetheryte plaza when we go into Holminster. I'll just say that now. It's possible that the very end area of it could have been the aetheryte plaza at one point, but I don't know.
Unrelated, speaking of Final Fantasy XIV, Jimmy, the Crisis Core remake came out.
Oh, okay.
I kind of want to play it.
Well, have you played the remakes for FF7 up to this point, or?
I haven't, but
Because I was going to say
part of the reason I want to play it is because Crisis Core is inevitably a prequel to all of
Yeah.
7, and also, if they kept the same soundtrack but redid it for the modern era, I am going to explode.
Well, I think what they did with... I don't know if it's a remaster or if it follows along with the story of the remake now. That's what I'm trying to figure out. Because, like, it makes sense at the point that we're at now that they would, like, put Crisis Core there because they're going to have to start kind of explaining, okay, this is what happened to Zack before they really get into it with Cloud, considering where they're at in the FF7 remake. But, yeah, I don't know if it's just considered a remaster or what, so I have to see.
They thought Stormblood was the best thing ever. They said I should kill myself or just leave because the game doesn't need people like me who don't understand its greatness. Okay.
No, that is not good logic. You are correct. Those people need to stop. That's fucking disgusting.
Okay.
Okay. Now Cole's gonna burst a blood vessel because this was explicitly about Stormblood.
Okay, listen. anybody who thinks that Stormblood is like the best thing ever is huffing so much copium that they practically have an entire fucking balloon made powered by it.
And let's be clear,
Like-
copium didn't exist but when Stormblood came out. So they didn't even know they were doing it.
Like, okay, listen. Stormblood has good things about it. I like some of the music. Despite what other people might think, I think Soken is a fucking fantastic composer for this game and has absolutely blown it out of the park with a lot of the things that he has done. And considering some of his recent feats with Endwalker, I have boundless amounts of respect for him. Some of the mechanics in Stormblood were incredibly good. It's just I don't like the story.
Yeah, no,
I like
that's
the
fair.
environments.
Yeah.
I think a lot of the town designs and all that other shit, they were fucking fantastic. It's just like I have issues with Stormblood's story, which is the thing holding all of that together, because it's essentially the same thing over and over again. I'm gonna let you continue with this because I'm just gonna rant inside the dungeon.
Yeah, fair enough. Speaking of which, how's your ether absorption been lately? Like, have you been able to absorb ether at all since you got here? Or has it mostly been like... I mean, you can attune to etherites, sure, but like, beyond that.
I mean, everything tastes like light, so...
Okay. Because I get the distinct feeling that Graha wants me to absorb the ether of this thing. Because I'm the most complete person here. Because all of your bodies are stuck in the source, so you don't have the well springs that I do. Alright, well anyway, we gotta go into Holminster and kill a Light Warden, and then I'm gonna absorb its ether and use it as a satellite beam, because I feel like it. They thought it was the best thing ever, then they got Shadowbringers and changed their tune. Now some of those people are in your boat and think Stormblood wasn't very good. Wow, it's like, I was right. Yeah, and a lot of people have changed their tune now to be like, yeah, Endwalker's the best X-Pack ever. Fair enough. I can't argue with you because I'm not going to play it, but...
Okay. In my firm opinion, after playing Endwalker, I'm in the same boat as most people, where after I played Endwalker, I legitimately enjoyed it. I thought it was great. I thought it was better than Shadowbringers. But my thing with Endwalker is that unlike Shadowbringers and unlike anything else, if I played Endwalker front to back again, unlike what I'm doing here, where I'm noticing a lot of the problems, I don't feel like Endwalker has as many problems as Shadowbringers and Stormblood. Like, I feel like the story is solid, a lot of the cutscenes are great, the voice acting and music is fantastic, like...
Yeah, and that's fine. And that's fine. It's fine for you to feel that way. That's what I've been saying this whole time. It's okay to have that opinion about it. I'm just so thoroughly done with this game by the time I'm done with Shadowbringers that it's put me off actively from ever wanting to try Endwalker. So that's... I'm not trying to argue that Endwalker is bad. I'm trying to argue that I just can't play it because I'm so done with this game by the time this X-Pack is over. So.
Fair enough.
Okay, so, new thing.
Holminster!
New thing, kind of an old thing because you could do this now in A Realm Reborn and some of Heavensward's content. Trust dungeons. You'll notice these icons over top of Lena, Crystal Exarch, Alice, and Alphinode's heads. I don't know why Lena's wanting to come with us, considering she's the captain of the guard and they need to distract the Yomorans, but anyway, not the point. Point is that if you don't want to bother with going into the queue and doing this with random players, you can now do it with any of these guys. In this particular case, the Crystal Exarch would act as the tank, Alphino the healer, Alice and Lena the DPSs, and you would fill in whatever role you want, and you'd end up picking one of them. I believe Lena leaves if you pick a physical DPS, and Alice leaves if you pick a magic one, to give you the maximum possible DPS bonus. So, but we're gonna go in with randoms
Really?
because I don't
Trust
care.
dungeons, probably my favorite thing about... Probably one of my favorite features now, and they carry this over into Endwalker. Like, sure, they take longer, but like if you go in with a trust, you can take your sweet-ass time exploring
yeah, for
dungeons.
sure. You can play it as slow as you want. So if you're not comfortable with a class or something and you want to try it at a certain level, absolutely do the trust. They're so much better than trying to do it with other toxic people who are just going to complain because you didn't hit your Madare in their trick attack window. That was just
Alright,
an
let's get this
example
right.
because of Samurai and Ninja, but you know, anyway. But yeah, I don't know. They're just too slow for me personally, but I definitely see the point of them, and I see why they want to do that. It's good that they expanded upon the, whatchamacallits. It's good that they expanded upon it from the Adventurer Squadrons from Stormblood. So I'm glad that they tested it in a controlled environment, and it worked out so well that they expanded it here. I have questions about the fact that what it does to the mechanics of the dungeons, but we can talk about those later, so... Yeah, squaddies was a good idea, and then trusts are cool, but because it lets you enjoy the dungeon. Yeah, so you only bought Endwalker because you get Shadowbringers without paying another $40 when Endwalker got delayed, resubbed, and thought, damn it. Yeah, no, that makes sense. Yeah, Grand Company LB. Oh my God, Anger Max is really good because it gives you damage up for like 20 seconds, so you just blast the boss to death. You're party lead, so take us in whenever you're ready.
Oh, fuck, I'm party lead.
Yeah, sorry, I should have mentioned that. I was just reading chat, so.
There you go. Now you're a party lead.
Oh, okay. I will take us in then. Holminster Switch, here we come. I was not expecting instant queue because of the Tomestones of Creation event, but off we go. It dropped your Cardian on me. That's unfortunate.
Yeah,
it's because it synced us down, I think.
Well, on the upside, you can also enjoy the environments in this dungeon. Because you're the tank and I'm the hero, and thus we dictate the entire pace of the dungeon. If the DPSs pull harder, they can die.
That's true. So, wall to wall?
Wall to wall.
Okay. I will wall to wall. And I will liberally spam the Blackest Knight.
TBN?
It is the most broken shield in the game, after all.
Looks like we have a Dragoon and a Reaper.
Oh good, there are Reapers here too. Alright, here we go. Let's see what's happening.
And now you can see what Reaper does.
Moo Moo Meadows accept death. Yeah, so here's another example where something just gets stabbed and then immediately turns into a Sin Eater. Again, not 100% sure that's totally consistent with Halric and the rest, but alright. I should probably... Alright, Shadow Wall's up. Put up another thingy. Oh, that's why, because I couldn't do it again. It's okay, I'm not out of the woods yet. Oh, that's standing in an AoE. Don't want to do that. I got another one. Sorry if I'm concentrating a little bit. I'm trying to preserve my Living Dead for this pull. I'm gonna Living Dead this pull.
Haima on you.
So just so you know.
I'm also focusing because I'm healing the first dungeon of an expansion, which means inevitably it is going to be a nightmare!
This dungeon kicks your ass, by the way. It really fucking hurts for no discernible reason that I can see. I don't really understand it. Like, it hurts far more than any other Shadowbringers dungeons. I'm not gonna hit Living Dead yet. Okay,
Yep.
I'm gonna hit it now. There.
Oh, I'm out of healing spells.
Okay,
Fuck,
I'm
fuck, fuck, fuck.
Walking Dead, so we're good.
Jesus Christ! Jesus Christ.
I don't know if I can get out of this AoE! Oh god. I also have no cooldowns left. My bad.
Get you up!
I'm trying. I'm trying! Just keep yourself alive, and then I'll take the stuff back when I have HP back. Now? Okay, ready, set, go. Come back here so I can help you.
Ah!
Alright, just keep me alive. I've got Salted Earth. I've got some stuff now, so we should be okay. As long as I don't stand in this. Nice work, though. Good recovery.
Why the fuck does this dungeon hurt so much?
No, that was a good recovery, though, all things considered. It definitely hurt, but we got it.
Okay, let's wait for the DPSs.
Yeah. Karibu,
Oh, this bitch.
I still don't understand why you're here. And again, they didn't even bother to
Forgiven
take
dissonance.
the Amdapori gems out of your chest. But okay. Alright, off we go. Ready? I'm just gonna burn my blood while I've got it. What are you doing first, sir? Okay, reprise that. This is the AoE. I remember some of this dungeon.
What the orb's doing?
Okay, good. I got all my blood spillers off. Now, I'm personally of the opinion that Holminster's Switch is Baby's first AoEs, and I'll talk about that in a minute, but I don't know. It just... Oh, he's doing another thingy. Cole, I don't have Dark Missionary yet.
Don't worry, we're good.
I can TBN this, though. He took 7 fucking years to use it, but sure. And I think, honestly, part of the reason why a lot of the mechanics in the dungeons here are so much simpler is because they wanted to make them for, like, so that, whatchamacallit, so that, Trust could do them. And I understand what they wanted to do with it. You guys should get over here before wooden horses you. Oh, he didn't do it this time. Okay. But it feels like they made the dungeons too easy. Like, it feels like they went over the other side, and now this is... The mechanics of this are simpler than they should be for this point in the,
Oh, this might hurt you.
X-Specs. No, it's fine. I got a TBN.
I'm so fucking good at this game! I don't know if you saw that, but I gave you the damage
I saw it.
cooldown.
It popped just
And, like,
as
instantly.
it went. Yeah, it popped just as it went up.
I'm so fucking good at this game.
Okay, so that's where we gotta go, is where he's going. I'm trying to
That's
turn
my
this up
horse.
to Reaper can do that. Ba-da-da-da-da-da. That's my horse! Oh, look, he's dead.
Ugh.
How long till TBN comes back? Like 60 seconds?
Fantastic question.
So I'm going to use that on the second pull. We have a black mage. Hopefully they know the LB strat for this, because otherwise we're probably going to die again.
I have, like, everything up, so...
Okay.
Just pull the wall.
I am going to.
Give you a high mon.
Take that hit, anybody. No, I don't have enough to, and I'm slowed. I guess I'll burn my Abyssal now. Oh, I'm slowed again. I gotta be careful though, make sure I use all my stuff properly here. All my cooldowns
Healers
properly.
aren't supposed to be DPSing!
It's okay, we got him. I'm also trying not to burn too much stuff because in a second they're going to have another thing trying to kill me. Like these guys. What Holminster, I think the reason why it hurts so bad though, is because they do that they just did there, where they basically restart the pull immediately after. They give you no downtime in between most of the pulls, so that is a really potent slow. Holy shit. Okay, go Black Mage, go. Cole, they're not doing the LB. What do we do?
I'll heal you to the best of my
I have
ability.
Abyssal. I still have Living Dead. It's back up, so I'm going to use it once I hit about 5,000 HP. Which is not yet. Now. Don't heal me.
Damn, I just gave you the nuts.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm Walking Dead anyway for a couple of seconds. There we go.
Shield.
I have a shield too. Okay, so the strat there that I was talking about, the range DPS is supposed to LB1 because that kills that pull like a lot faster than that, but they didn't do it, so the Black Mage is not getting my comment. Oh look, it's the person everyone said I should be sad about, and I'm not because I've known her for 5 seconds before this all happened, and she gave off 6 billion death flags. I don't have Blood Weapon. I'm gonna wait on all my big stuff. The Tickler. Tesleen, that does not tickle. Actually, it did, because it did 0. Never mind. Scold's Bridal. Can I reprise this in time? Yes, I can. Fevered Flagellation. Spread out! Okay, good spread. Not so sure the Caracol was good, but it works. Not saying nothing. I'm just saying. Was that a Caracol, or am I not knowing the
That was
names
a spread shield.
Okay. So it wasn't a Caracol. Good. Because that means you can use it on something else, like another Skull Bridle, or this! We're gonna move, this way. Everybody spread out again, because Fevered Flagellation's coming, and I cannot, help out with that. I can do this, though. I don't know if you're... No, you're 4. This is gonna go away before you get hit. My bad. Oh, never mind. Hey! It worked out. I thought my TBN was gonna pop before it, before she got to you. Oh, I can reprise that, too. And by the time I'm done with my Quietus window, or not my Quietus window, but, you know, it'll be time for Blood Weapon again. Starting to get good at putting TBN on other people, considering I didn't remember it. I don't have it for this. I'm in a Shadow Wall. I have a... Okay, I was going to say I have a Soul Eater coming up, so it should be fine. What else you got, Tesseline? Oh, that's what you got.
That.
Okay. Well, we'll all move over here and then sprint with me. There we go. No more fevers. Tesseline, you're not taking care of the sick anymore. You are not capable. You have no bedside manner left. Yeah, again, a lot of people, like, cried when they saw her in this dungeon, and I'm just like, okay. Are you sure
this was the first instance of Shadowbringers being like, hey.
But it just makes me
fuck
feel
you.
like a lot of the people who play this game just aren't emotionally well adjusted. And nothing wrong with that. I'm just saying it makes me feel like, I don't know. I just don't know if you're properly
If
fit
you
for
don't do this part one at a time, I'm
society.
gonna throw you into the
Oh,
sun.
I can't do it more than... I can't do it... we'll have to do it one at a time, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Stop that. I don't know why I'm carbon spitting when I'm full on MP. This is a test of your MP skills with Sage, Cole.
I haven't dropped below 5k this entire dungeon.
You will here. If it's anything like when I healed this on Scholar, I was at about 10% when it got to the worst. Put this up. This slow for me is good for you. I'm gonna hold my delirium until the next pull. I can TB him. I didn't need to. That's unfortunate. That's my bad. Because now it's not gonna pop. It almost did. That. Was waiting for that sound effect. I don't think I need delirium here either, actually. So, but yeah, this is the only part where it kind of feels like you can breathe as a healer, because if you're doing wall-to-wall pulls for the rest of the dungeon, it feels like you always have to have the nuts on at all times, or else you'll just fucking die. So. Go ahead, try tail swing. I dare you. Fuck you. I've had tanks that have wiped us multiple times though before because they don't use their cooldowns effectively in these parts.
Oh, I was at half MP. You were right.
I told you. Now, again, you probably did a little better than me there because when I did it,
I
it
did
was
not
like,
press Lucid that entire time.
Okay, well, good, because I was pressing Lucid on cooldown as a scholar. So.
Lakeland Mana Trigger.
Ooh, nice. And then you get to breathe here too, so you know. I was gonna say you're getting quite a bit of stuff here. I got nothing. Speaking of baby's first AoE, here's the first Light Warden.
Did I mention I love the designs of the Light Wardens in this shit?
Oh no, they did a good job of emulating the SMT feel for them. I'm just sad that it came at the expense of previously done storylines. We'll get to that soon enough too, because we'll be done with this dungeon in time. Alright, ready? Here we go.
Spread.
Just waiting for the Fire 3 to be almost done. God, this thing's as big as fucking Nidhogg.
It's about as hard, too.
Yeah, to be fair, that's true.
Okay, that's the right play.
Yep, that's why I reprised it. That's the Tank Buster.
Oh, shit.
I got it. I got a Blackest Night. You don't even got to worry about it.
That bitch just popped the minute it hit you.
I know. Stay away from me. Okay, so he'll chain down somebody. It's the Black Mage. That's unfortunate. Gonna stand right here and break this thing. You can rescue them, by the way, if you want after this.
I don't have rescue on my bar.
Oh, well, that's unfortunate. I always rescue people out of that. And then it'll
With
ether
every
sup.
passing second that I say, healer thinks I'm sure he's having an aneurysm.
And it'll ether sup. Oh, right now, so come this way. Again, baby's first AoE. Because you can
Sure
clearly
shit doesn't
see...
hit like baby's first AoE.
But you can clearly see the arm. And you can very clearly see him, like, even after the AoE marker shows up, you have, like, plenty of time to get out of it, so... That's all I'm saying. Taphophobia.
Red.
I got it.
Ow.
I'm reprising this. Nice. Good combination of stuff. That'll make that a lot easier to deal with.
This boss is significantly easier than the dungeon. Like,
Yeah,
no
well,
cap.
that's the problem with Shadowbringers, right? Is that the bosses are so simple, the dungeon is where the difficulty comes from, and it's so much more pronounced in this X-Pack than it has been anywhere else in this game, because they had to make the stuff easier so that the Trust could do them. Fierce Beating. So stay to the side.
Oh shit.
Not that part of the side. Move one section. Move one section.
Oh.
Yeah, you see how that works? There are those clearly defined sections on the ground. The Reaper did not see how that worked because they ran through the sludge. So, yeah, don't run through the sludge. And don't stand in front of him. You should come over here more.
I'm healing. Ah! God damn it, Reaper! Oh shit.
I'm reprising this. Oh, that's not good. Hang on. I wasn't there for you. My bad. Come here, quick. I don't have TBN. I can't help you. Okay, now come this way. Like all the way this way. There you go. Who's it chasing down? The Black Mage or you? You're a hero
Black
gets
Mage.
off in time. Okay.
We aight!
We are alright. The kids are alright.
I am not though. I just had a heart attack.
Oh, I have a blood weapon back. I wasn't even looking because I was paying too much attention to you running around screaming. I respect it. He waited for the stuff to go off.
Oh.
That's fine. And that takes that. Care of that. Holy shit, are you two okay? Cole will be okay after some therapy. I'm fine. The Light Warden, however, is not fine. Good job, team. Why am I
Jesus
putting my head
Christ.
down? I'm not sad. Why is all
Welcome to
agency
the new
gone?
victory animation for
Well-
the next 2 expansions.
Yeah, because you enter Shadowbringers and you could be anyone. You exit Shadowbringers and you're a Gary Stew. I'll give it to the Reaper, you give it to the Black Mage, even though they didn't do the LB strat. Lakeland Culverin. Donate that.
Holy shit, are you two okay? No, Murray. I'm not. I have severe healer anxiety.
You did really good, okay? I want you to understand that. Most healers get really, really upset when they see Holminster because they have to try so fucking hard to keep the tank up. You did really good in that dungeon. Don't let nobody tell you no different.
It's releasing its ether. Fall back.
Actually,
We
I'm
cannot let
standing
it touch us.
the
Quickly,
closest
my
to
lord,
it,
we must
aren't I?
withdraw.
Before the ether explodes, let me see what Marie said since I, missed this, like, a bunch of chat. Let's see. So that level boosters didn't suffer, then you heard about the level 73 trial making people question why Square Enix would put in such a hard fight at the start of the X-Pack. I didn't think that was a hard fight. I just thought that she had way too much HP. It was like Lakshmi again, honestly. Pills are only hard on Sage. On Scholar, they were harder, honestly, I think, than Cole had it there. Because, again, I was down to... Although, I think in some situations it was because I was, like, Adlo, and the Adlo, as soon as I popped it up, would immediately be gone. So, like, within a half a second of me putting an Adlo on the tank, all of the shield that I just gave him would be gone. So I'd have to E-Tactics Adlo, because by the time I got another Adlo off, they'd be down 10,000 HP, and then I'd have to Adlo again. So that's 3,000 MP out the door right there. And I had my other stuff. I could, use Lustrate and that, but Lustrate doesn't hit for dicks anymore. So, and you don't have Recitation yet, so it's tough for Scholar in this dungeon. Next dungeon and beyond, it gets a lot easier. Partially due to Recitation, and then partially due to Sacred Soil's overpowered buff. It's okay, Cole. Deep breathing. Deep breathing. You'll be okay. Besides, I'm taking care of the heavy lifting now because I can take care of this Light Warden. You just do your deep breathing exercises. Go meditate.
I have to say this, and this is going to sound ridiculous, but bear with me. I have healed through Barbaracia Extreme.
Mm-hmm.
She was easier than that.
I believe it. That dungeon...
You want to know
I told
why?
you.
Co-healer!
I told you, that dungeon fucks with a healer. It's the hardest dungeon for a healer in this X-Pack. Because you don't have all your good tools yet. So, you missed when Delirium
Just
was
sad
an
I
attack.
won't get my laser beam.
Yeah, well, you have one of them, but not the big one. When was
The
Delirium
81
an
dungeon
attack?
sucked. Yup.
Was that Dark Dance? Am I thinking of the same thing? Or probably saw your notes already. You know your thoughts on knowing someone for 5 minutes and them dying. Sounds heartless, but you do not give a fuck. No, it makes sense. It's like, you see her, and again, if you've literally played any other video games or read any books in your life or seen any TV shows, you'd see, okay, death flag, death flag, death flag. Tesseline, you can only give off so many death flags. There should be a cooldown on that. And then it's just like, okay. And she doesn't move. She gets to Halric, and she does the badass thing and cuts off half the wing. And then she does the stupid horror movie protagonist thing where she's like, okay, I can stop moving now. Okay, Tesseline. Feel something when the character had enough time to make an impact for you at the start of the X-Pack and felt nothing, yeah. Like the merchant who got eaten a minute after you get into the first. It's hard to feel bad, yeah. So I hit it Lucid at 6,000 or less personally, but yeah, 7,500 makes sense because it does make your MP management more manageable, so. Do the Light Wardens have lore from before they turned? No. And that's the problem. We'll talk about that in a few minutes when we get to the side quests. Will we get to the side quests today? We might. I might get to start them, that's it. Usually forget you have Rescue. You've used it less than 50 times since Stormblood. I don't know. I use it quite often, actually, all things considered. I try to use it responsibly because it's gotten a bad rap from a lot of people, but I try to use it responsibly. You've seen healers struggle with dungeons. Dissipate doesn't eat your fucking fairy anymore, so you actually use it now. I used it for sure, like, all the time when I got Holminster in Roulette. When I was healing on Scholar, I was like, no, I gotta use Dissipation. The 20% healing, it will keep my E-Tactics Adlos up. Yeah, no, grab the child and run. Now you're sad. Oh boy, sorry. Don't know what I did, but sorry.
Thank you.
Unless you're talking about Heaven's Warden, that's why.
More.
What?
I think it was because you talked about how the Light Wardens don't really have lore.
Oh, yeah. That's probably it. Yeah, the
Level
Light
81
Ones don't
dungeon
have
did suck.
I
Zot
heard-
was
I
fucking
heard that-
awful.
I heard that you can only double pull in that one, and it slaps as hard as this dungeon. Is that true?
Okay, let me tell you about Tower of Zot.
Oh, no.
That dungeon sucks.
It sucks in
You-
4 as well, so at least they carried that over.
Okay, let me explain to you how bad it is. In this dungeon, if you have a good healer, a good DP, and 2 good DPSs and a decent tank, you can wall-to-wall in this dungeon. Zot, you cannot. If you go into that dungeon with level 80 gear, and you have a good tank, a good healer, and 2 decent DPSs, you cannot wall-to-wall in that dungeon. At all.
That's incredible. How did
On
they...
Dark Knight, you can barely double pull.
How-
It sucks.
How did they manage to do Holminster Switch again, but worse? And in the
Oh.
X-Pack after this one, where everyone's going into it with a lower skill ceiling because Shadowbringers made them all brain dead to mechanics. What the fuck?
Yeah. Endwalker does not fuck around with its content. Like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah. Well, that's unfortunate.
Yeah, that last pull in Zot, oh my god. Oh my god, it's awful!
Oh boy. You know what else is about to be awful? This Light Warden. Because it sure ain't gonna taste like chicken.
Necessary,
Let's see,
Captain.
instead of me bitching about Endwalker.
No, it's fine. I don't
Though
mind.
I
We gotta
appreciate
get it all
your
out now.
The eternal light of these creatures has confounded us for nigh on 100 years. For each we have put down, another has risen up in its place, born of the self-same ether relinquished by its predecessor.
Oh, I skipped
But
that
now we
before the
have a
last
way to
syllable. My
contain
bad.
that corruption.
So you want me to absorb its ether? That's what I figured you wanted me to do.
The blessing of light. And the hero
I'm
who
helping.
wields it now stands before you.
It's okay, you did all the healing in that dungeon, so now all you gotta do is be there for moral support. Oh, hang on, I gotta do something real quick. Quick. Where is it? There it is. Sorry for the low FPS count. There. Because I need a thumbnail, so. So normally Heidelin is here in this void, and I would expect her to be able to absorb this, but I guess she's not here, so I guess I'll do it. Just take it all directly into my body. Use the sock. No, it definitely doesn't taste like chicken. It's kind of leaving a bad taste in my mouth, if I'm being honest with you.
Tastes
Also
like
feels
nickel.
Also feels like there's compressed air in my chest. It's kind of making me feel like I need to scream and shout and let it all out!
Hey look, the coolest moment of the entire expansion. One of.
Behold, the monster's power is broken, and the world, twisted by its touch, returns to its rightful form.
Hey look, the night sky is here. Let me turn chat back on. Sorry, I needed a thumbnail. This is your first time seeing the night sky, isn't it, Lena? Because you definitely
It's
weren't
so
alive last
fucking
time.
cool.
So I want to be clear on something. That is the coolest moment in the expansion for me. Right there. That moment where you shoot a fucking satellite beam out of your arm to destroy the light pall is fucking metal as hell, and I love it.
Followed by this cutscene of the people of the Crusarium being able to see the night sky
No,
for the first time.
this is grandissimo. More of this, please. And then we never get any more of this.
Scar. It can't be.
What do you mean it can't be? You're literally seeing the night sky for the first time. Believe it, Toaster Head.
It's so beautiful.
Now you can see it for real, Morin, rather than just in books. Tower of Zot was literally the worst thing you've experienced as a healer since Somal hard mode when you had a Dragoon demanding you heal him while he stood in lava and the tank didn't use cooldowns.
That sounds like hell.
It is hell. It's a volcano. No, shouldn't that have expelled all the light you just ate? Oh, Marie. Oh, that's my brain cell that you just put on the page there, believe me. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about it so much.
My brother is going to die before the end of this expansion. F's in the chat.
It's gonna kill me. In canon, though, for our particular timeline, that did expel all of the light that I just ate. So I want to be clear on that. From this point onward, I am not currently holding one light warden in my stomach.
Is that
There are 0
what I think
light
it is?
wardens in my stomach, because I just used that one as a satellite beam. Still so fucking cool.
The night sky, as it should be.
As they all should be.
Who are you people?
That's the question we always get
You
when we do
killed
this stuff.
a warden, then bathed in its ether as if it were a spring shower, and now the sky? The legends are true.
It's not really all that legendary. Theoretically, anyone can do it with the right ether practice. I'm kind of surprised none of the Scions or Rory attempted to do it. Although, I don't
Oh, I
know.
did.
Oh, you did? What happened?
I tried.
Did you cough it all up? Did it make you puke? It's okay, you can be honest with me. They're not listening.
I tried to ingest the Light Warden's energy, and then I could take it all in, and then it just infected another person, and then murdered all my comrades.
Wow. That's dark as fuck. Sorry to hear that. I was gonna make a joke there, but I don't even feel like it now, because that's so sad. You let the Dragoon die. When you were about to revive him, he fucking demanded no, I didn't heal him. Told him to look where he died. He said he didn't notice that he was standing in lava. I shouldn't be able to quote Sword Art Online abridged. AK, how do you not know you're standing in lava? Yeah. Oh boy. Graha, you need to get up now.
Have I waited for this moment?
This is not the look.
For the one possessed of her blessing. For you.
Please stop sucking my dick. You need to understand, it is not okay for you to idolize me. Just because I did this.
Darkness has returned.
To be fair, he has been living in an apocalyptic hellscape with little to zero hope as the singular pillar of hope for the last 100 years. I don't know if you know how long a century is, Jimmy.
Well, I haven't lived through one, so I guess I can't be clear on that, but...
Let the poor man dream for a second.
No choice but to retreat.
Isn't it better to kill his dream now so that he doesn't have hope when I kill it? Sorry, I'll stop now.
Why did Hydaelyn choose you?
I'll get on Graha's case more as the X-Pack goes on. I don't want to shit all over him all at once. So we haven't seen Mama Crystal in 1 or 2 X-Packs. Is she okay? No.
She is not okay.
Though darkness has
Not at all.
here, the other
Mama Crystal is suffering.
Burning skies, feasting upon what little life remains.
It's funny because I don't see a pall over any of the other areas. They must be pretty damn far away.
Even should it cost me all I have, I would see each and every one of them slain, that this world might be spared from oblivion. Not
Well,
only for the first,
you
but
know.
for the source as well. Save one, and we save the other.
Lena's not going to know what the hell you're talking about, dude. She's going to think you're senile.
She's
gonna call you an octogenarian.
To this fight against your will.
You're correct. It was wrong of you to summon me to this fight against my will. You literally could have just called me on the phone and then told me to take care of the Black Rose. The Black Rose construction factory could have been the 4.5 dungeon instead of the Gimlet Dark. Fuck me, man. And then we could have gone here anyway in 5.0.
Oh,
I swear on my life.
this makes sense in
I will one
story
day hope for
later,
that
in my
day,
opinion.
But for the present,
I'll explain why. Later.
I beg you stay and see this fight to its conclusion. Cast down the wardens and restore darkness to the first.
I mean, I wasn't planning on not doing that, if that's what you're saying. I just don't like that I'm doing this in your... It does, in fact, sound like a glorious adventure! Ardbert's going to facepalm over there.
I'm surprised you didn't take the
On
last
behalf of
option
the
in that
first,
case.
I offer you my deepest
Because I was going to do it. It's not like I'm going to be a dickhead about saving the world at this point. because I'm already in on the whole thing. Like, I can't leave these people here. So many more people will die if I leave and go back home. So I'm just going to stay and fix the problem, and then I'll go back home.
I understand.
Sometimes you
You'll
just
build
have to
more
weigh
houses.
your options.
But why do you risk yourself so readily?
What would you say? I talked over
It
you
must
again.
have been a dangerous drain
Never
on
mind,
your
it's
ether
fine.
to summon even
I'll say it
one
after we're done with the
person
cutscene.
adrift.
Asked someone that before the level 79 dungeon. They said, don't worry about it. You're about to read. One of the post-Shadowbringer dialogue options is hilarious to you. Excuse me, I am a scholar, asshole.
I do it for my people, of course. To give the Crystarium the tomorrow it deserves.
That is true now, yes, but the city had yet
Still
to be
remember
built
probably
when the
what
first
I
call
consider
for
to
the
be one of the
crystal
funniest dialogue options ever, and we
I'm
won't see it
simply
for a
curious
long
to know what
time,
prompted you to commit
unfortunately.
yourself so completely to this particular course.
Spoiler alert, it's for the raids for this expansion.
Oh, okay. I was going to say, from the main story stuff, there is one line of dialogue for the remainder of this X-Pack that hits the nail on the head to exactly how I feel in that moment, and we won't see it till the patch content. That I can recall. Maybe the side quest will say something, but from what I can recall, so... Yeah, especially considering you didn't know about Urianje's vision until after you were already here, and they were already here,
Things
which took, 95
we
years.
can ill afford to lose. And I sensed from the first that I had a part to play in preserving them.
This is horse shit, and you know it. Nobody here knows what a horse is, except for you.
Forgive me.
What the horse
I fear
doing?
the events of the day.
Running freely across the Asm Steppe.
Despite appearances, I am an old man. One burdened with many difficult memories, some too painful to recall.
Like your name.
Well then, I'm sorry for pressing you. It's a family failing, I'm afraid.
No, keep pressing. We need to know why he's trying to withhold the fact that he's Grahatia. I'm the only one among any of these people who would even know who you are. Alphino and Ali say we're not present for those raids, and Lena's like 25.
One which has served us well more often than not. Needless to say, we will continue to fight at your side until the last Sin Eater is defeated.
Yeah, fair enough. I got nothing better to do since
Come
the
then,
kids are on break anyway.
My warriors of darkness, let us gather the surviving villagers and make our way back to the Crystarium.
Let's hope more than a few of them survived, because I did see those few that were running past us while we were on our little jaunt to this section, by the way, where we were fighting Philia. Was that the boss's name? It's so forgettable that I've already forgotten it. Something like
Or
that.
Phila, one of those.
But where we were fighting her, that's where I think Holminster Switch's Aetheryte Plaza might have been, and in my head canon, they destroyed the Aetheryte. But if there was never an Aetheryte there to begin with, what the fuck? Why would you build all this architecture when you have no Aetheryte to protect you? Maybe I'm thinking too much in terms of Crystal Chronicles.
In Crystal Chronicles, we saw that villages were not exactly the most protected.
That was because they didn't bring enough myrrh, though. When Lita happened, I think it was called Lita was the name of the dungeon. It was because they didn't bring enough
dungeon
myrrh.
was
I
just
love that
like
dungeon.
a slap in the face.
I love that dungeon. It's great. It's really sad, but it's great. Okay, you want to explain it? Shit, he's got me. I'm a scholar. Yeah, can you explain it then? Fuck. Yeah, no one else was here when we teamed up with Garland Ironworks and Sons of St. Quinox. You really are the only one here who would know. So I don't know why he's being so coy about it. Maybe it's because they think it'll make for a big reveal later. This is not the first time they'll withhold details because they think it'll be a big reveal later, even though it's so bleeding obvious.
So mad about it.
I'm not mad about this particular instance as much as I am about it keeping happening over time. Like the fact that they don't learn their lesson that this is not an okay way to tell a story. And I'm also mad because it's beyond my control because no one called them on their bullshit before Endwalker came out, so that means they kept repeating the same mistakes. Potentially. Allegedly. I don't know because I haven't played Endwalker, but I'm gonna assume that no one called them on their bullshit, so they felt okay repeating these sorts of types of storytelling. Yeah, that's fair. I mean, if they've never seen the sky, I don't imagine anyone alive would have seen the sky at this point, because probably the vast majority of the older people are dead, so... Excuse me. This is, by the way, why I felt like doing Alisaie's stuff second feels better, because it sort of speeds the pace up. Tesseline turns, and then immediately the Sin Eaters attack, and then immediately after them talking about the Warrior of Darkness in her line of quests, they're like, oh my god, the Warrior of Darkness is here. It speeds that stuff directly to its conclusion. If you go do Alisaie's first, and then you do Alpha Nodes, it feels like there's too long of a pause in between those story beats. So I feel like it's paced better if you do it this way. So that's why we did it like that. I mean, how easily can you wash off Sin Eater gunk? Because it's all over my armor. Yeah, no, I understand the point. You don't want, Yulmoran assassins coming in and trying to murder me after you went to the trouble of taking me out of the reach of people who tried to kill me with a chemical weapon. So, yeah, I'm with Alphino on this one. He's not going to respond well. I can guarantee you of that one.
He is a baby.
Yeah, I wish he wasn't. So, how long did it take you to realize that Vothri was basically a cherub?
Far longer than I would care to admit, because I never saw the face.
Well, not even just a Sin Eater. Like, he's the manifestation of the cherub legend, basically. He's a fat fuck with wings.
I never noticed it up until a certain point, because I always thought Vothri was just kind of a bastard.
See, I didn't see the wings, though, until for a long time, because he doesn't show the wings for a while, as far as I'm aware, because he's always stuck sitting down. But he's got little teeny tiny baby wings back there, so... You were definitely mad at the reveal? Oh, I'll be mad at the reveal, too. I'm just waiting until then to start getting my Rees up. I'll wait. I am very patient. I can wait. So...
The big Re.
Well, at least Lena's down for this plan. Do they ever tell her the whole truth about us? I'm pretty sure she ceases existing after 5.0 in the story. Maybe she's in 5.1.
She is.
I forget. And I think she gets
I was
a little...
definitely mad at the reveal. I sent you the words I had, you know?
Yeah, that's true, yeah. I think she gets a cameo in 5.3 as well. So... Oh, good, I can finally actually sleep here because, I don't have to worry about the light the whole time. Well, Lena, it's been fun. I'm glad you guys went in the other split in the path, while I went the other way and gave Cole healer PTSD. Okay, sure. What needs to be passed on? Okay, sounds like a plan. I can do that. Bragi was the Rothgar, right? Because you guys wouldn't know them as Rothgar here, would you? Do we ever find out what Rothgar are called in this world?
I think we do.
I forget. It'd be funny if they were just Ronso. Okay, well, don't run afoul of any Sin Eaters while you're in Holminster. That's not what she's looking for, Alpha, no. Yeah. She needs to bring a souvenir to the Inn at Journey's Head. Alright, fair enough. Just, say your goodbyes and all. Yeah, well, off we go. It probably did hit her really hard. Like, I feel bad somewhat for not feeling bad for what happened in terms of all of this, because I feel like Alisaie would want me to feel bad with her, but I just don't. Sorry, Alisaie, but, Alright, I'm gonna use return. We're already going back to the Crystarium anyway, so... It says go to speak with Alpha Node. Wasn't I supposed to speak with Bragi? Or is that after I speak with Alpha Node?
It didn't give me a teleport.
Sag. Because I used return, probably. What's your return point?
Here.
Oh, well then just, yeah, there you go. That's easy. I suppose so, considering they're not, running in the streets rioting. Probably not. Okay, now I get to go speak with Bragi. Alright, fair enough. I will attempt to have untroubled dreams, but if Ardbert has anything to say about it, they will be troubled, because it's Ardbert, so of course. Oh yeah, I didn't tell you about that, did I? I can see Ardbert's ghost.
Oh.
Yeah.
Fun.
Fun. He just randomly visits me. He's like, we couldn't stop them! I'm like, it's okay, bro, I got this. He's gonna be malding tonight.
Probably.
Most likely. You guys need a lantern? Well, I suppose you have been stuck under radioactive light for a century, so you'd need help in the dark. Sounds like a plan. Somewhat. I didn't see what happened, so. Honestly, I'm not sure if I want to do that. Leonard's at the over there. Oh, okay. I still can't unlock the clan stuff, clan nutsy stuff, can I? Oh, there it is. It's over there by the Wandering Stairs. It's not at the location I thought it was, so. Let's go see if Leonard can give us an opportunity, but let's also go see about this other opportunity because the person for Clan Nutsy is not at Clan Nutsy, so I'm gonna go open that up before I go to bed tonight. I'll probably open up all the quests for this, to be honest. And I don't think I'm gonna... What time is it? 7:09. I'm not sure if I'm gonna get to my being upset at the end of the stream here today. It depends on how long it's gonna take to unlock the role quests after this, but we'll see.
I think the role quests are literally the next story quest.
I'm pretty sure, yeah. So, like, I think as soon as this one's over, you can do the role quest, so. Halidor? Oh, he must have seen me running out into the middle of danger and been like, yeah, that guy is in a bunch of armor. He can probably kill Sin Eaters. I mean, it's bad for most people's health, sure, but... Was that guy naked?
Probably.
Mostly? Like, I didn't think about
it.
it.
Are you doing all the role quests like you should?
Yes, I'm doing all the role quests, yeah.
All of them?
Every single one.
Every single one. Every
single one, because if you don't do all the role quests, you're missing out on a significant story beat. So, we'll be doing all of them. I'm also going to unlock all of the Clan Nutsy stuff right now because I have a level 80 class. So, this way, because I do actually want to buy some stuff from the exchange here, but they've actually changed the exchange rate. Instead of using Centurio seals, they use a new currency here. They also use it in Endwalker, which literally makes no sense, but okay. Anyway. Nice to meet you too. Oh, not Halidor, Haldor. I heard about you guys almost as soon as I got here. I've been trying not to kill anything unless you said it was okay, but now I'll have official business with you, so. Sure, sounds like a plan. I don't know why I'm tilting my head, but I know what you're about. You're the Clan Centurio of this world, so. Yes, I'm aware of the concept. They make it sound like, so in my canon, my head canon here, they make it sound like here, oh yeah, well there's myriad monsters. It's like, no, that doesn't agree with the world building. The world building says that there shouldn't be myriad anything. 90% of the world was wiped out 100 years ago. So there's not myriad anything, but sometimes the monster totals get over the amount that Clan Nutsy says is good for the ecosystem, and so they tell people who are in Clan Nutsy to go and cull those monsters to keep the ecosystem in balance, because the last thing they need now is extinction level events and even more light ether spilling over into the environment. So that's, in this canon, that's what Clan Nutsy does. I think that's what they kind of do as well, but they definitely don't say it here. So, anyway, let's just register with Zilly here. Yeah, interested in joining Clan Nutsy? Yes. Cool. Thanks. Well, actually, you won't have to worry about that because I am a very experienced hunter to the point where I'm level 80. I'll unlock these quests, like the rest of the quests after. Just pretend like she realized I was level 80 and she said, oh, okay, here's all our hunts. I'll just do them off screen before the next time. So. The reason why I want to do Clan Nutsy hunts is because there's some gear that you can get from her before the end of Shadowbringers that's much better than, specifically accessories, and they're much better than any other accessories that you could get otherwise. It also saves me a significant amount of time on side quests because if I wanted to get the accessories normally, I'd either have to make them as a goldsmith, I think you can make some of them as a carpenter, or I'd have to do side quests to get high quality versions of them. But if I do these hunts occasionally, we'll eventually build up enough sacks of nuts, which is the exchange currency, to purchase augmented Deep Shadow gear, which is eye level 470. So I'll be doing that for accessories for all of my classes that are level 80. Well, will be level 80. And yeah, like I said, eventually we'll build the stuff up. I'll do the rest of the stuff with Haldor later. But basically, we're going to want to look at the board, and ideally we'll get lucky one of these weeks because one of the 100 nutsack hunts, the elite one that's posted weekly, will be in like Lakeland or someplace I've already been, and I'll be able to take care of it. If we don't get lucky, that's fine. Eventually we'll have all those spots unlocked, and I think I only need like, I want to say 550 sacks of nuts to get there, and considering the fact that it's going to take us a solid month and a half to get to the end of the end of 5.0, I'll probably be able to get that without too much trouble, especially once we get to the later areas and I start fighting things that are stronger. So anyway, we can do the role quests now. I see that you're at the bar. Were you waiting for me?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Anyway, now that I'm done enrolling myself in Clan Nutsy, let's go see what kind of opportunities we can get from this Glinner gentleman, as they do a spinny spin with the camera. I'm talking to him even though he's talking to someone else.
A well-stocked liquor cabinet for the apocalypse.
I mean, a lot of people probably drink in this place. They'll probably
Can't
be
imagine
drinking,
why.
They'll probably be drinking a lot more tonight. Yeah, that's understandable. Everybody's probably pretty happy about all the things that happened in the night sky. I've been told that you have some... Yeah, Bragi told me about some business opportunities or something you have. What's the deal? Yeah, that's fair enough. Wow, that's pretty thorough work they did then. Fair enough. I mean, he's got reason to be rowdy. Oh, okay. Gotcha. Yes, I've heard. Well, that at least lets you guys stay ahead of it most of the time. The strays, huh? Okay. So this is kind of similar to what Clan Nutsy does, except this is specifically for certain types of sin eaters, the stray ones. So, and the hunters around here are keen to gather information and share it, depending on what happens. So, the cardinal virtues. What's their deal?
Or cringe.
They are cringe for all the wrong reasons. And they just blew their load again too early because here Ciela goes telling you about why they're cringe. So, you know how in patch 3.1 and then 3.4 the Warriors of Darkness showed up in the source and they were all like, we need to stop the flood of light in our worlds, we have to listen to the Ascians. And then we told them, no, that's a terrible idea. And then they were like, yeah, you're right, let's just take Mama Crystal and go stop the flood of light. And then they did. So I was all geared up to say, okay, so when Shadowbringers popped out and it was like, okay, we're going to Ardbert's world. That's cool, because that means what they're going to do is they're probably going to have the rest of his friends be like the bosses of the dungeons, and they would build them up through the main story quests, to be the bosses of the dungeons, that their forms were twisted because they had to stop the flood and they gave their all to do it, but then their forms were twisted and used. And it's why Ardbert is still clinging on, because his friends can't rest, so neither can he. No, they don't do that. They just assign them to be side quests instead of, actually using the plot that they had already built up for them. They just assign them to be side quests for tanks, healers, and then DPSs.
This does lead into something interesting, though.
I can't... It does lead into something interesting, but that something interesting should have just happened as a part of the main story, because the alternative to them using the Warriors of Darkness as, let's say, the bosses, or them giving them any story presence whatsoever, is all I'm asking for, because Ardbert gets all the story presence now. The rest of them are stuck in these side quests that Ciela is talking about here. You have to complete one of these sets of quests in order to finish the game, but that still means you don't have to see most of the entirety of the Warriors of Darkness while you're doing this. Having them not be a part of it means that the Light Wardens have no character development, do nothing in terms of story element. All they're there to do is just be angry and be bosses. You had writing previously established with these Warriors of Darkness that you are squandering to side quests when it would make a much more potent main story. It would feel more personal to Ardbert and to the player, because Ardbert has a direct connection to all the bosses, and you have a direct connection to Ardbert and all of them from your experience with them. You wouldn't have to write extra stuff, but then again, they didn't write extra stuff, did they? All of the fucking bosses in these goddamn dungeons, except for the trials, are faceless monsters that literally do nothing once the dungeon is over, and do nothing before the dungeon.
Jimmy's screaming internally.
Hemorrhage. I feel a hemorrhage coming on. Let's continue. Brain lesions.
Your brain is unfolding.
Like Nippon steel that sat too long in the oven. Anyway. And here's another thing right here. Okay, so they're tough as Light Wardens. Let me ask you a fucking question, Final Fantasy XIV. Why aren't they just the Light Wardens then? Anyway. Okay, so here are our 4 quest givers. Lou Reek there looks like Kai Shear if he had done something with his life.
God damn. That'd be mean to the kid.
We aren't doing his collectibles quests anyway, it's fine.
Damn.
And then we have one of the best characters in Shadowbringers. Giat.
Yes. Giat.
We'll talk about Giat.
Giat's great.
I can't say much about Giat because they want to have it be a big reveal with them as well, but anyway. One of your hunters? I'll introduce myself to all of your hunters because it sounds like they could all use the help. So yes, you can now do role quests, and they carry this over into Endwalker as well. In the absence of actual quests for each individual class, they now just have separate quests available for tanks, physical DPSs, magical DPSs, and healers. It lets them focus more, I suppose, on writing quality stories for all of the classes, rather than having some of them be really good and some of them be only okay. I'm not entirely convinced that they did a good job writing all of these quests, but we'll get there. And yeah, they actually directly tell you right here. Once you reach a certain point in the main story of Shadowbringers, you actually can't continue unless you've finished the entirety of a role quest line. So we'll be doing them over certain points in time as we go through this stream here. In particular, there's a whole bunch to be done right here, right now. We can take on any of the ones that we want. I'm going to be taking on all 4 of them. Where's Granson anyway? He's over there. He's the one that I'll... Well, basically, so I'm going to be doing all of the role quests at certain junctures in the playthrough. And I forget if I think if I go take on Warrior, like if I go finish Warrior of Darkness right now, I think it finishes the quest. So is it worth it to end the stream now and then take these on next time?
Perhaps. We are almost 7:30.
Yeah. So I think what we'll do then is we'll rest on our laurels and sit at the bar for a little bit. But on the next episode of Final Fantasy XIV Shadowbringers, the stream edition, we'll go have a chat with our good friends here, the Roll Quest Givers, and see how their hunt is going for the real story of this game. You actually really like Granson's questline. I don't honestly remember liking any of them except Giat's, but I mean, I might be just misremembering because I really like Giat, but we'll see what happens. I'll be able to tell you better once we're done with all of them here, and we'll be confronting them a little bit at a time as we go. So, thank you for watching, everybody. I appreciate you coming out to Twitch and YouTube to check out the stream, and I'll see all of you on the next one, which will be... I might have to front load a couple of them next week because the holiday weekend is next weekend, so don't want to be pushing
The
everybody
holidays
towards it.
next week?
Christmas Eve is next Saturday.
What?
Yeah, so we're
Time
probably
is
gonna...
a lie.
Time is a
Existence is
construct, actually. So, time is a construct, and yeah, so probably it's going to be Monday at 4:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time will be the next stream. I'll post the schedule up on Twitch, YouTube, and Discord, not Twitter. I don't have that anymore. Once I establish it with Cole, which I'm going to do after this after this stream is over. So, and we'll be back next week. It'll probably be like a Monday, Tuesday, Thursday kind of thing. Not sure yet, but that might be it. That's tentatively what I'm thinking. But anyway, yeah, appreciate everybody coming out to Twitch and YouTube to check out the stream. I'll see all of you on the next one, which will be next week. Until then, everybody, take care and have a good one.
What?
You gonna come sit at the table with me, or are you gonna sit at the bar?
I'm gonna sit at the bar. I want to drink.
I need a drink after all that healer PTSD. Oh man.